Hey everyone, this is Murli. I am here to present a session on prompting basics, and I'll showcase building an application with Copilot at the end. So, what is a prompt? A prompt is the input, which can be a question or a command or a text you give to an artificial intelligence model to guide it in generating a specific relevant output. What is prompt engineering? Prompt engineering is the art and science of creating a prompt that guides the generative AI to produce the most accurate, relevant, and high quality output. So, with prompt engineering, you basically save time in creating applications or in working with generative AI. What is an LLM? LLM is a large language model. It is trained on vast amount of internet data. LLM is useful in writing, reading, translation, and chatting applications primarily at present. Here are some of the prompting tips. When you are prompting, your prompt should be detailed and specific in order to get the detailed and specific output from the LLM. And your prompt should be in such a way that it will make the model to think through its answers. And you have to experiment with prompting and iterate again and again in order to achieve the desired outcome. So be detailed and specific. Here is an example of what is a detailed prompt. Summarize this article is not a detailed prompt. Instead of saying summarize this article, if I say summarize the following article in 5 bullet points, focusing specifically on the financial impacts mentioned, use a professional tone. So, in the detailed prompt, I'm kind of telling the LLM to provide a tone to the output, and also I'm saying focus on financial impacts in the article while you summarize the article. This is an example of detailed prompt. When it comes to guiding the model to think through its answers, we call that pattern as chain of thought pattern. There are other patterns as well. You will hear about them in few minutes. So this technique basically improves the large language model's reasoning by asking the model to break down the complex problems into intermediate step-by-step logical steps before providing a final answer. So this is a prompt. What is the value of 3 plus 4 plus 19 minus 12? The solution also I'm providing as part of the prompt. I'm saying first calculate 3 plus 4, and then add those numbers, and then finally subtract. So I have broken down the problem into steps in order to get the final output. So here what I'm trying to say to the LLM is that making the LLM to follow the pattern I am providing in the question in the prompt, right? And then this is the next question to LLM. What is the value of 5 plus 7 plus 9 minus 12? Then the LLM will think through the answers. It will approach the problem solving in a step by step manner, and it will try to add 5 plus 7 first, then add that result to with 9, and then subtract 12 from the result. So ideally we are providing a pattern to the LLM and making the LLM to think through its answers. This is really helpful in order to get correct output from an LLM. Sometimes if you don't break down the steps to the LLM in the prompt, it will assume so many things and hallucinate and provide wrong answer. And the final tip is experiment and iterate. So prompting is a process, is an iteration process. You may not get the prompt right in the first attempt itself. You have an idea, you put the prompt to LLM will give the response. Think why the response is not coming as desired or as intended. Then refine the prompt and LLM will give the response again. You repeat this process until you get the desired output. Right, here is an example of experiment and iterate. The first prompt I'm giving is give me advice on productivity. The LLM response is very generic. It will say use a to-do list, take a break in between. Then this output is not desired for me. So I'm modifying the prompt and asking the LLM in the second iteration, give me 5 productivity strategies for a remote worker who struggles with distractions. Then the response of an LLM is little more relevant, specific, but perhaps too long. And I want to iterate it further to get more aligned response. Then in the third iteration, I'm asking it as give me 5 actionable productivity strategies for a remote worker who struggles with distractions. Keep each point under 20 words and use a professional tone. Then the result is concise, tailored to the ask, and actionable advice. So here are some of the prompt patterns or prompt types. Audience persona prompt. Here we are telling the LLM to modify the output according to a persona. Right. One example is explain the basics of quantum computing. Assume I'm a 10-year-old. Then LLM will give a summary or a tutorial on quantum computing, but it will fine tune it such a way that a 10-year-old child can understand. Right. And then comes to question refinement pattern. Whenever I ask a question, suggest a better version of the question and ask me if I would like to use it instead. So in this pattern, basically we are telling the LLM to suggest a better version of the question being asked. And this pattern is really useful in understanding about good ways of prompting. because we are asking the LLM to suggest the good prompt, and that will help us to reflect on our prompting approach. And over the time we will improvise our prompting approach, right? Example is, how can I get better at running? Then LLM is suggesting you a refined question: what's a specific training, diet, and recovery adjustments can I make to increase my running speed by 10% in 3 months? Clearly, the suggested question is more clear and specific than the originally asked question. So, so this is about question refinement pattern. And then comes to few shot prompt. There are zero shot prompt, single shot prompt, and few shot prompts. I'll explain what is zero shot prompt and single shot prompt in a minute. So few shot prompt is where in the prompt itself we are providing some examples to the LLM, example input, example output. In this prompt I have provided 3 examples to the LLM. Then the LLM will predict the answer based on the pattern we have provided, based on the input and output we provided. I mean to say, it'll try to follow the pattern given in the few shot prompt, right? Here is an example for a sentiment analysis of a movie review to recognize it as a positive or a negative review. An absolute masterpiece is the review, then I am telling LLM to classify it as a positive review. A total waste of time is a negative review. I did not like it is a negative review. I have given 3 examples to LLM, and when I asked about the fourth one, the LLM tries to predict based on the pattern we have provided. Here are some of the references. These are the courses I have followed, and some of the content is being derived from these courses. So I can show quickly about how to build a mobile application with Copilot. So let me open up an Xcode. I'll create a new project. I am naming it as Dice Game. Okay, I created a sample iOS Dice Game application. This is the initial setup. Let me just run and show you what it will display it. Yes, so this is the initial page. Currently you just see hello world. There is nothing else in this project. Now this is a simulator. Simulator is like simulation of a real iOS device. Now let me go ahead and use the Copilot. This is the Copilot I have downloaded for Xcode, and currently I am in the agent mode. Now I am trying to prompt the Copilot to build my dice game. So let me write the prompt. So this is the prompt I am giving. I wanted to build a game for two players. Both the players start the game at entry point and end the game at finish point. I am asking to create an ellipse path and keep the players at the start point. Each player roll the dice when it's their turn. Dice rolling happens alternatively. Based on the number shows up on the dice, move the player forward in the path. The player first reaches the finish point is the winner and end the game announcing the winner. So this is the initial prompt I gave. I'm in the agent mode. Let's see what Copilot will do. So you can see it is generating some code for us. The plan is 2 players 50 dice game. It has given us some steps. So it is asking us to review the draft and tell the preference. So so I'll say you can assume the best preference. Okay, it has generated us the code. It wants to run some build commands. I'm allowing those commands to be run. Okay, let me try running this. I'm hitting command R. That's the command to run in Xcode, and it's not running. There are build issues as you see over here. I'll ask the Copilot to fix the build issues. So the Copilot is trying to fix the build issues. So it's saying it's completed. Let me rebuild again. I'm still seeing the build issues. I think probably Copilot is not having the context about what are the build issues. So let me try providing the build issues in the prompt. I can see here there is some extra character E that was causing the build issue. I think now it is able to fix it. We'll see. Copilot is running multiple commands. I am allowing those commands. So it is inspecting many files for errors, trying to fix these build errors, rewriting some files. It's still debugging and checking and trying to fix. It is still updating some views. Then it said, I inspected the reported errors and fixed the source. And it's giving some kind of summary on what are all the fixes or changes it has made. Now let me try to run again. I still see two build issues. And let me ask it to fix. I'm still in agent mode, if you can see. So it is mentioned that it has fixed them. Let me try rebuilding it. I still see one issue. This time I'm saying to fix it. After it fixed it, I'm telling it to compile by itself and check if there are still any errors. Okay. Okay, let me run it again. This time build is succeeded. It is able to fix all the issues. Now, as you can see here, this is the game it has created for us. Great. Now let me click on the dice. Okay, it has created it, but I'm not seeing the players are being moved when I roll the dice. So let me ask it to improvise. So I'm telling it to improvise it further. Let's see. So I'm telling it when I click on the dice, the player is not moved. That's the bug we have seen. And told it to improve the UI to show individual player scores. Also mentioned which player turn it is for each time the dice needs to be rolled. It has to tell who has to roll the dice. And I told mark the starting point with different color to understand. It's trying to generate the code for us. It is telling us how to test the behavior also. Now let me run again. It says complete. So now player 1 is identified with red color, player 2 is identified with blue color, current turn is player 1 turn. It is still not moving the player when I hit on the dice. So this is the last try. Hopefully it should give us something, and then we will try to conclude it. Okay, let me run it again. Yeah, it is still not moving the player, but this is how we can build the applications with vibe coding. As you have seen, I have not written a single line of code to build this UI and the application, right? If you want, I can quickly create one more new project and can show how to build a simple game. This time I don't give a lot of information to the Copilot. I'll just tell it to give a game, right? I'm asking it to create a game. We'll see what it will create for us. It is identifying some plan. So it is trying to build a game for us, which is single view Swift UI tab game. It is generating all the files for us. Looks like there are some compile errors. Yeah, it's saying it is completed building the game. Let me run it. Yeah, there are these compile errors. I'm asking it to fix these compile errors. Let's see now. I'm trying to build it again. Build it succeeded. It's launching the game. Right, I'm hitting start. The game is to tap on the image we are seeing and it'll count the score. It's not able to count the score properly. Okay, it's counting the score. You see, I scored 3, 4. Time remaining, time is up. I scored 4. I think this is how we build mobile applications or games with vibe coding using AI. I have demonstrated using Copilot, and we built a couple of games with Copilot. And let me go back to our slides. That concludes the sample of building applications using Copilot. And any questions? Okay, we can go ahead. If you want to follow me on LinkedIn, you can follow by scanning this QR code. And this QR code is for ADP list. You can get free mentorship sessions. You can basically go ahead and scan the QR code and try to book mentorship sessions with me. I'm providing mentorship sessions on prompting for AI and mobile development application. Then I provide some guidance on job search and interview preparation as well. Thank you for attending this session. Thank you.